Okay, it is 8:15. Let's get started. Welcome. We are here to talk about moving court records over to Maple Street Building. Dave, good job.
You want me to run through it with you?
Yes, please.
Okay. I met with the owner yesterday, he came out, and we went downstairs and, looked at what we had to do.
For a second, for the record for the board, I did go upstairs yesterday and let them know that we were having this meeting. She said she'd reach out to Jennifer.
So the biggest problem that I could see in doing this as far as, accommodating everybody was that they have to be able to find their records over there, which involved one of their staff and a whole 9 yards. I came up with, I think, is a good solution. We're gonna relocate all 3 rooms as they stand right now over
Okay.
there.
Good.
So everything they looked for before and were able to find, they should be able to find it in its new location, because it'll be a mirror image of what's here.
And there should be room over there to do that. So that's
We've got, storage over here is, we're currently occupied, they're occupying 710 square foot in that, in that room over there, we've got, 918, so there's a couple hundred square foot that we don't really need. But because of the width and length of that room, we're gonna be able to use the room a lot more efficiently than the space that we had over here. Now, this is to relocate all 3 rooms, so it'd be the one on the south side of the building, which is next to the server, and the vault over there. The one in what would be the northwest corner, that has the French doors on it, and then the main one. And the instructions were that everything goes over there out of all 3 rooms. Now, when they get down to some of the stuff, it may be junk and I'll throw it away, so, and then, we looked at the space over there, we wanted to make sure that, that it would accommodate his equipment. They're basically, there's 2 hard parts of this. Number one is all the file folders, because they all have to be taken down, they have to be boxed up. The racks that are there right now have to be taken apart and then taken over to DHS. And then reassembled over there, and then everything put back up in the same order in which it was taken down. So that's a bit of a time burner.
how soon do they think they can do this?
Yeah, and he assured me that that wouldn't be a problem. I'm gonna work out a numbering system with him so that, we can put a number on every one. We can come up with a drawing, we can show where that box goes and the whole 9 yards, so that should be relatively simple. Well, once he gets over there, he's got 12 stairs, he's gotta take those file cabinets down. Now, he said that he's gonna double pad the stairs, but we're gonna see some wear and tear on that indoor outdoor that's going down the stairs.
Sure.
He said it should be minimal. I really like this guy because he was thorough. He's out of Burlington.
That's what I thought you had told me, because you couldn't find anybody else, right?
Yeah, and he gave me a couple of cards. I want to keep one of them, but one of you can keep the other one. It's your responsibility. Yeah, the Best Moving Incorporated. So, and this guy didn't miss a thing.
Good.
Well, he did miss a couple of things, and then he called me back last night and told me. So we went back over that stuff. He is available. He's available 3 days next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. He can get it done in 3 days. I, for one, want to tell him to go ahead and do it. The only thing that we have to do on our end is we have to put up a door in that hallway down there.
And you can do that?
I think I can do it. So I was gonna run over the lumberyard and see what the turnaround time is on a door, but I can have that installed right after they put it in there. So, I mean, we're gonna end up with maybe a couple days lag time as far as, but the building's locked down and nobody can get in.
So they would have then a key to the back door and then to that hallway.
They're gonna have a key to the one that's, to the new door only.
Okay,
Now, the other door, you've got a key on your ring and I've got a key on my ring, so we have access to that space.
okay.
And then we can go ahead and I'll get some keys made and give some to Jennifer. I'll let Abby know how many keys are out, and that way she can expect any of those
And
back.
she
When I
needs
say
a
back
key.
door, I'm thinking the door on the north side of the building.
North side of the building.
That door on the north side
Oh,
to
the
the
one,
outside.
that's the one we're gonna take everything in.
Yeah. Yeah,
No, they're gonna have to go through the DHS, either that or work something out with DHS. There's a doorbell there. So they can ring the doorbell, you know, if
Okay.
somebody wants to come and look at the records, they can ring the doorbell.
Okay.
And most likely it's gonna be the same people all the time,
right.
you know, and so we'll just let them kind of work out a little system amongst themselves as to, you know, for the access, rather than get overly involved in all of that.
Yeah, their office hours should be basically the same and their days off would be the same.
They really are, but for the most part, it's outside contractors that are coming in to look at the records, so they're gonna have to make themselves,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
yeah, it's gonna be their responsibility to get over there during
Yeah,
business hours.
so Dave, we're talking September 3rd, 4th, 5th, Tuesday,
If that's what
Thursday.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is.
I can send Jennifer an email and say this is gonna happen and be helpful if somebody connects with you.
I can walk through it with her.
Okay,
Now-
can you?
Yeah,
Can I give her your cell number?
yeah, go ahead and give her my song. I think she's got it anyway, but,
Okay,
now, you know, if she changes anything from this plan, all we're gonna end up doing is adding time to it.
Right.
This is the most cost-effective way of getting this done and getting it done very quickly. And, you know, a week from now, it's all gonna be done.
Well, she didn't indicate when she was down here the other day that she really had an interest in forming a plan anyway. She was just okay with getting it moved as long as they had access.
Yep.
Okay,
and we got an email yesterday that I think her first day is Friday in her new position, so I don't know who will
Okay,
actually be in
Barbara?
charge. Yeah, but I'll send it to Jennifer and she can let Barbara know,
okay, well,
whoever's
you
gonna
know,
actually be in
I
charge.
can walk Barbara through it, if, you know, if need be, that's no problem.
Sure, all right, thanks, so this is for $7,800, which honestly seems very reasonable for everything involved.
I thought it was very reasonable too. Ordinarily, when they have a lot of boxes to pack, they have, elderly women come in. Probably somebody younger than I am. But they have somebody come in and do dishes and that kind of stuff. But because it's paper, they can't have them come in because, you know, there's too much chance that they'll get hurt.
Do they like empty the file cabinets or they take them full? Just curious.
No, they're gonna take them full.
Wow,
Yeah, they're gonna take them full. Average weight on those things, he told me, is around 300 pounds.
Okay.
So, the other thing we're gonna have to do, and I'll call, Corey over at Schumacher, but they're gonna have to have control over the elevator.
okay,
So and that's another thing that works out great because, you know, it's a holiday weekend. The volume around here is gonna be low next week. I will tell them that if there's anybody who's handicapped that comes up there, that they're
Yeah.
gonna have to be given access to that elevator.
Yeah.
And one other people's gonna have to take them where they need to go.
Okay.
So,
The insurance says insurance will be 100% of the value of the item. I'm wondering if we shouldn't have a,
written agreement.
well, you know, bond or whatever you want to call it. On file.
I don't think you're gonna have to get overcomplicated with that. I mean, it's
Okay.
going from here over there and there shouldn't be any difficulty. I did tell him that this new sidewalk out here is about 6 inches thick and I didn't want his truck on it.
Right,
So, they're gonna gonna set up a ramp out front.
Okay.
All right, somebody want to make a motion for this?
Did we convene this meeting?
She called it to order.
Okay, I just didn't remember.
I didn't talk to him, and I'll let you guys have this conversation with him as to whether or not, we need a contract or not.
Probably need some kind of an agreement. Can you, do you want me to talk to Elizabeth?
He's on the road right now, so why don't you contact them and.
Do you have an email for, oh yeah, it'll be on here.
Yeah, everything,
I'll give it to Elizabeth.
everything and more is on that card.
All right. Yeah, there is no email. It's all,
The person who sent me the bid,
Flip it over on the back.
okay.
No, your card.
Oh, it's right here. Thanks, Abby.
I think it's on the back side of the business card.
Okay, yeah.
So Lee, I have a thought going through my head.
Uh-oh,
We're already paying $7,800.
out of our buildings line item.
Right. We should not be insuring some property that's not ours. That would be up to court to secure.
Well, they're insuring their work.
Okay,
If they screw it up, they're saying, insurance will be 100% of the value of the item. I don't know how you determine that.
yeah, I was wondering that.
Well, if they were to crack the concrete out here with a
Right.
truck.
Oh, I understand that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so, but yeah, we're not, and I don't know, I mean, we've offered them to be the arbiters multiple times to oversee project. So the clerk of court's office can send somebody,
Yeah.
and they are aware of it, so that it's going, has to go.
So you will contact Jennifer. I'll send her an email. And I'll contact Elizabeth to connect with them. Okay?
Well, we need to let them know that,
No, Jennifer was gonna contact me. It doesn't, either way, I don't care.
You two just need to talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
so we need to let them know, Dave, that, so they can put it on their schedule. That we've approved this, well, we haven't yet, but
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna give him a call and tell him to plan on it because he's bouncing all over the East Coast over the next couple of months. So we don't get this opportunity now. It's probably not gonna come back again anytime soon.
right, okay.
Okay.
Now, if nobody has any objections, I'd like to make some improvements to the space down there.
Yeah, let's talk
Yeah.
about that when we figure out what we're gonna do with it. You mean down here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, when you took me down there, I mean, clearly it doesn't need a lot, but it needs some cosmetic stuff.
Yeah, and that's something I'd like to take care of after I'm done outside this year.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be a good thing to be doing this winter. So,
Okay, very good.
So I would make a motion that we approve the agreement with Best Move Incorporated. At a cost of $7,800. Pending. What conversation between them and the county attorney's office?
And then an agreement, you mean?
Oh, I don't know, that's why.
Let's just, yeah, approve it and
Okay,
I don't know.
I'll tell you what, why don't, I'm gonna call him up, and tell him that this thing's gonna move forward.
Yeah,
And that we definitely would like to have it done next week.
Elizabeth should be here in a couple of minutes anyway.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's got something that he generally sends out. Usually the contractor will, that
Okay.
he can send out requiring his, somebody's signature over here.
well, the issue that I have, quite frankly, is
See what happens
I
when
don't
you
like
don't
what
lock
we
the
did to the
door.
amounts. It says the estimated cost would be $7,800, and then I get a bill for $9,800. That's why I want something a little more definitive.
So
Right,
not to exceed.
not to
$7,800.
exceed. All right, so we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'm
Second,
not saying that we won't come into some kind of understanding, but I've been down this road before. We
Right.
have an estimated cost and then,
I understand that.
yeah, so,
Okay, any more discussion?
no.
Well,
Okay.
I'll tell you what I'll do then. When I contact him and tell him to go ahead and do it, I'll ask him to send over whatever contract he's got.
Yeah. Very good.
And then, I'll have him put something in there. I don't know what. I'll try and figure something out with
He
him.
probably has something in wording in there. He does this all the time.
That's, yeah, yeah. And he can say that this bid is based on the walkthrough that he had with me and.
Right.
So,
And I get that, but I'm also reminded, can you say bathroom?
Okay, so we have a motion and a
say
second.
what?
Any
Did you
more
say bathrooms?
discussion?
The focus here.
Lee, all in
I'm
favor?
focused.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion to adjourn this
Every
meeting.
time we turn
Oh,
around. we got a
yeah.
new cost.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All
We're
right,
done.
we're gonna
We're
switch to the opioid. It is now 8:31. Let's, all
Oh, that, yeah. Well, it must have
right,
made up front on that one.
we're moving some files over to another building, so that's been on our list for quite some time. Which is what that 15-minute meeting was about. All right, welcome. Does everybody know Joe Phipps? He works at the well. You wanna, thanks for coming.
Hi, I'm Joe Crooks. I work at the well.
Do you know everybody? Otherwise we'll go
I
around.
do.
You don't?
I
Okay,
used to also be the pastor of the Presbyterian Church here.
right. Right, very good. Stacy, you want to introduce yourself?
Stacy Worley, Jefferson County Health Center Emergency Director.
Chris Estel, Jefferson County Public Health Director.
Sandy Stever with mental health.
Deb Booth with Public Health.
Tony Boyer.
Susie Gray. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Dee Sandquist, and,
Lead in it.
all right.
Abby,
Abby Work is our board secretary. So
And second,
everybody here knows we have the opioid money. We got a little bit more, so our current total is that amount. And all we have committed is, what was it, up to 20,000 for the talk
Yeah.
And then
And the webinars.
and the webinars. Were there, how many people, anybody take the webinars?
You know, I haven't heard, and I'm just kind of getting back into really the last week.
Yeah, because I.
And so I haven't reached out to them down there. I know Mike had gone and talked to coaches and stuff like that. So I don't know, but I'm concerned it was probably pretty light attendance,
Yeah.
but I think we're gonna have to try it a few times. Get it
Okay.
out there,
Yeah.
you know?
Can you update us on what all the well is doing, and is there any way, do you have any needs related to
We always have needs.
the opioid?
Oh, okay.
There's very strict guidelines on.
So here are the two different pamphlets you can send them around. So a little history, the well as a concept and an organization began about 13, 14 years ago out in Pella when a group of pastors and business leaders got together to try to find a different way to help those in need of all types of services. And after study and prayer, they came up with the idea of actually treating people like people. Novel concept, I understand, but and what that means is the resource centers, which there are now three resource centers and another one starting. There's one in Pella, one in Knoxville, one here in Fairfield, and then Newton has a thrift store, which is the first phase of any movement to an actual resource center as well. So as resource centers, we're aware of the resources. We try to stay aware of the resources in the area. We have resources of our own. The biggest resource that we have, however, is the time to actually listen to people and get as much as they are willing to share, get to know them, and try with their permission to try to move them beyond wherever they are right now to whatever they consider is the next step in their journey. The vast majority of our people come because of a financial need, a water bill, utility bill, rent, something like that, car repairs. The vast majority of our returning clients, however, come because they know it's a safe place where they can talk and they can know that nothing that they share leaves the building, and they can spend their 45-minute time sitting there in utter silence. They can spend their 45-minute time sobbing their eyes out or anything in between. And so we have an awful lot of folks that come looking for that. Our resources do involve finances, but our resources also involve budget classes, a class called Grounding, which is about setting healthy boundaries, both for yourself and for those in your sphere of relationships. We have on Wednesday evenings, we have a Bible study. On Thursday evenings, we have a 12-step program called Stepping into Freedom, which is Christian-based 12-step. It's identical to any other 12-step program, save for the fact that in step 2, where you turn to a higher power for your inability to handle whatever it is that brought you here, we acknowledge that the only higher power that can really give you any answers is God through Jesus Christ. So otherwise, the other 11 steps, in fact, the book we have prints the AA 11 or 12 steps in the very front of it, and you can compare the two series of steps, and they're identical except, as I say, for the second step. So we have that going on Thursday. Right now, we're showing.
What time on Thursday? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna.
It starts at 6 o'clock with a meeting.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
So is that a 12-step program for anything?
Yes, that's the beauty of it. We believe that all addictions are a matter of the heart. And we've had clients. We had one client that came in very proud of the fact that they had kicked their alcohol addiction, gone to AA. They were now a sponsor with AA. They continued to go to AA meetings, and they came to us because their finances were in ruin because their addiction had moved from alcohol to eBay. And they had a garage filled with things that they always intended to be using but never did. And so they just kept spending and spending. And so they still had that addictive tendency. And so the stepping into freedom addresses the heart issues such that you can bring any addiction. We have folks in the program whose addiction is basically the negative thoughts that they have been told since childhood and believed. And so they are addicted to believing that I'm no good, I can never accomplish this, I'm a failure. And so the program can address the lies that we're telling ourselves, because basically addictions are us telling ourselves lies that, I can handle, this one beer, it's only marijuana, or the lie that, if I just have a few drinks, all my problems will go away and everything will be fine. So addictions are at the heart, a lie that is told to us or that we tell ourselves. So any lie that you're telling yourself can be addressed through this 12-step program. On Fridays right now, every other Friday, starting at 6, we're showing the series The Chosen. I don't know how many of you are aware of that, but it's a marvelous, marvelous series that moves through the life of Christ. But the interesting thing about that series is that Christ is not the focus of the series. It's actually his followers and their reactions and the way they change from the beginning through listening to him and on through the end. So it's an incredibly compelling series, and actually it's wonderful that it humanizes it. It helps bring that balance between Christ being fully God and fully man. And there's a scene early on when he's off by himself before he's gathered many of his disciples, and he's doing woodworking. He was a carpenter, and this montage scene, and one of the scenes is him wrapping his arm where he's cut himself with some tool or something. And we talked about the fact you never think of Jesus as having been clumsy enough to cut himself while he was doing woodworking, but he was human, and he sometimes the plane or the chisel slips and you cut yourself. So
Do you see, you call people customers,
clients,
with opioid related?
not as much as we see with meth and marijuana, but we do see some many, my understanding is that many of the opioid addicted see it more as a medical
Mhm.
issue rather than an addiction issue that would need, a 12-step program or something. We do have some clients, and this is kind of strange, but it also seems that, people that are struggling with meth or those that admit that marijuana is, a problem and are struggling with it, they seem more, when they get to that point, they seem more ready to talk about it than people with opioid addictions. So
I think a lot of that, quite frankly, is we mentioned a little bit ago about medical. A lot of people thinking that, well, it's not an illicit drug.
right, it's I got a prescription for this, so
it's-
how can you be addicted to something that you got prescription for? The doctor would not
Yeah.
prescribe me something that was going to make me addicted to it. Yeah. So yeah, that's right. I mean, that morphine is, but that's monitored and regulated. And if you're prescribed morphine, it's usually in the hospital or under a hospice nurse's care, and so there's strict
I
regulation.
wish that was the only time it was prescribed,
Well,
because it's not,
most of
just
the
to
time.
clarify.
Most of the time.
Because people use it for chronic pain, which is not an appropriate treatment for chronic
Right.
pain.
But-
Not to argue the point, but yeah,
No,
it's,
but
if people are,
just,
yeah,
and it's been in the news far more so that people are more aware that, oh yeah, morphine, I can
it's-
really have problems with that.
Yeah. yeah.
And in the grand scheme of things, opioids are, they're brand new, and, the message still hasn't gotten out as much as it should that
Yeah.
they are a problem.
Is there, this is just a question of what materials do people get when they pick up a prescription of an opioid? Do they,
But they get.
is it just,
they
is they
whole
get the
booklet,
little
but-
fine print of, like,
No, it's a huge,
it's a big
several pages of information, but as well as I do that people don't read them. And they just want their pain controlled,
right?
and they're not going to be cognizant of the fact that can lead to addiction, because we don't call it that.
Is this like when they pick up their prescription from the pharmacy, they get that pharmacy counseling?
Well, typically they get a set of discharge instructions that would give you some information about the medications that you receive. When you go to the pharmacy to pick up a new prescription, you have to talk to the pharmacist, and they have to make you aware of all of the things. Typically, depending on what you're getting it for, you get the option to get Narcan along with your script if it's for chronic. And then you obviously get the packet of take-home stuff from the pharmacy as well. So, I mean, the education's out there, it's whether they want to listen to it or not. I will tell you on the provider side, from having some discussions, you know, they feel, there's a lot of providers that feel like their hands are tied as far as, because patients are so unruly and patients are demanding, that you would think it would be as easy as telling a provider not to prescribe. But they feel very threatened, by their patients who have had certain practices for years and years, and then if they, you know, have to transfer, or they just see a new provider altogether, and that provider's not willing to give them something, patients are not nice, and they are very, demanding, and this is what it takes for me to survive, and you are gonna write it for me, and, I mean, there's a lot of that goes on as well, that people think, well, if the doctor didn't want him to have it, they just wouldn't write it. Well, that's not the case. So, I do know that providers, feel very pressured.
Do they still have the patients sign waivers of, you know, taking that opioid responsibly and they know? when
Yeah, they don't. I mean, yes, we have to have for chronic pain, yes,
Yeah.
but it's a piece of paper.
Mhm.
It's a piece
But
of
at
paper.
least it.
It's
kind of
not
goes from-
enforceable, really.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
And back to your point, Stacy, when, you know, they pick up their script and then they can have the option to get Narcan, well, that doesn't do anybody any good if you're a single person, a widower, and you're 80-some years old and you're taking 30 milligrams of extended release morphine twice a day. Nobody's gonna be there to administer the Narcan, is what I'm saying. You know, so it doesn't do any good to have a script for Narcan when you could go into respiratory distress and arrest. I mean,
Mhm.
you know,
So
so yeah.
I happen to be one of those people that thankfully had a high tolerance for pain. When I came in and saw Stacy here a couple months ago, I had neck pain that was just excruciating, and that's the reason I was the emergency room, was to have something done for pain. And I don't know, hydrocodone or whatever it was, but they did a liquid intravenous Tylenol, which actually did more good than. But I also happen to be one of those people that takes pardon my French, but takes a hell of a lot of pain pills before it has any effect on my pain. So I just don't take them because I'm afraid of the end result. And so I guess I'm grateful that I have a high pain tolerance because, you know, I kid you not, I could take 5, 6, 7 Advil and it won't do anything. And so there's stuff like what they were, which they counseled me and, you know, in the whole 9 yards and but I'm basically afraid of it, so I just don't tend to.
The perception of the general public is it's not normal to have pain, which is not a true assessment. If you're having pain of some sort, I mean, the 1 to 10 pain scale is just so subjective, right? Stacy and I can both say we have it, that I'm in a pain of 10 and I'm just sitting there talking to you. Like I'm not having any pain, but the perception is that we should not have pain, which is not true. Because if you have pain, you've either had procedure or you're in the process of healing. To live a life with 0 pain is not appropriate. But if you say that in a room of patients or providers, Chris says that she doesn't care if I have pain and don't go see her. You know what I mean? I mean, that's not true, you know, that's so far away from the truth, but the perception is we don't care if we don't medicate someone.
So one thing I heard from what you said, and thanks for the overview of your services, was the education component.
Mhm.
And we've talked about that within this group. We meet every 2 months. Is educating the public, but we all struggle with how that happens because there's a couple events coming up, one not related to this particular group, but important. And Connie, you probably want to talk about my ascension. Are you
want me to?
Yeah, you might want to mention that. Everybody here probably knows it's.
Yeah, so basically it's a suicide prevention program. There's a young gal, her name's Emma Bonneau. I think she's from Alabama, and when she was a high school cheerleader, she committed suicide. Or tried to commit
Tried.
suicide, right?
Yeah.
She-
She's still alive.
And she came back. Yeah, no, she tried to commit suicide. She basically paralyzed, just paraplegic. But she now tells her story. They did a documentary of her life. And we're bringing her to Fairfield to talk to the community and talk to high school kids about if you're feeling this way, get some help, talk to people, so,
That'd be wonderful. We,
Yeah.
we work with several clients
Oh.
that have attempted
Yeah.
suicide.
Yeah.
and
yeah.
So,
And it's October 24th at the high school. They're trying to get the time. They would like it to be 2 o'clock to start, or 1 o'clock. Because right now they have it set for 2 o'clock to start. They don't think it'll be enough time. So they're working with that, and then it's gonna be on Sunday at the Sondheim Center for the community.
Yeah.
And both events are free. They'll have counselors there, hopefully, after to talk to people if they need to talk about things. So,
And then next April, I believe it is, there's a program, Tall Cop. And this is opioid drug focused. And I know some of you went to that presentation. So we're gonna have that community event. So the challenge that I've always found trying with community events is getting people who need to be there. So I think we all need to be thinking of that. And I don't know if we put together like, here's 2 events coming up so that we start getting it in people's minds, even though they're related, they're not like the same groups, but they're
Right.
related. And so it'd be this, and then later on there's this, or if they're totally separate. I just think we need to figure out when and where and how to promote some of this stuff.
Well, it's a good point. I mean, obviously, they've got a certain clientele there. CETA has a certain clientele. Like you say, that's always the challenge of getting those people there that really need it. And
They have to
are
want to be there.
They have to
Correct.
want to be
Take the
there,
first step and accept it.
right?
Right.
It's all about that, supporting that person to make that choice.
And so we need to
I
also,
was gonna say,
you
are
know,
there flyers?
with
or-
medical providers.
Yeah, I mean, I
Um,
think those are things that
Mhm.
would probably, the clinic would probably like to,
right.
I don't wanna speak for them, but I think we could post.
Yeah, and
You
we
know.
talked about that in our mental health meetings, and we even talked about having the high school do like a little competition on flyers.
And
You know, they can.
I think if we could promote both programs, just to say, and, well, we could probably use some opioid funding to help fund the
Get 'em
flyers. We'd have to ask Elizabeth, but in that meeting I went to in Des Moines, 2 years ago, there was so much mental health opioid
I
connection.
know.
It was
is-
pretty much,
Right,
but yet Elizabeth's our assistant county attorney and she's an attorney, so she looks at the appendix that we were sent and all right, this qualifies. So she's our go-to person on what qualifies. But
I
I
think
have a
that
question.
Yeah.
So, or comment, when you said trying to get the right people there.
Yeah.
Well,
anybody,
yeah, it's because if you look at the girl that's coming, and she was a popular cheerleader, and nobody would have thought she was one of those that needed to be there.
Mhm.
So I really truly believe that, we all can suffer from
Mhm.
hidden addictions or hidden depression. And it's like Robin Williams said, you don't hide depression, you don't fake depression, you fake being happy. So we need to.
Is Dave in here?
No.
No, he's left. Okay.
Dave's not here.
So-
We're trying to get that out of the courtroom.
So I'm just saying that we need to promote this to all people, be it the Kiwanis or the Rotary or the providers at the hospital and the school people.
Right.
And everybody needs to know to go to this.
I think the first thing is to confirm the date and the times of everything.
yeah,
I mean, because otherwise we can't move forward with making any
Yeah.
kind of flyers or anything. I'm
Yeah,
concerned about the school wait until, it's already the 1st of September, and if this, by the time they go through the process of doing a poster contest or whatever, people need more than a couple weeks' notice to get it on their schedules, I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I thought Mike had had it confirmed, but.
I had,
He did, but they needed more Emma and her.
Okay.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Schedule,
It's a
but
timing thing.
It's not.
They
gonna be
sent
enough
an
time.
email yesterday with an update, and
Right.
it was pretty loose as to the time, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So can I?
Well, it's a good point. I think soon as we get these times,
Yeah,
yeah.
let's find somebody who can do a flyer.
Mhm.
So I have a question. So we have this young lady. And she relates all of her experiences and just and to Sandy's point. You know, there's a lot of folks out there, Robin Williams is a good analogy that. But he's got it all, so why would he be, you know, and we don't know those answers to those questions, but if we have something and as Chris said, you know, everybody, she'd like to see everybody attend this. But shouldn't, or is it possible, I don't wanna say shouldn't, is it possible that if somebody's attending this and they have this, or the expression, but an epiphany, and they, oh, I do have this, I need this, that there would actually be somebody there at that precise moment in time?
that's being worked on.
That's what we're.
Because that's all I was thinking, yeah. Because if they leave the meeting and they go have a couple of days to rethink their position, well, I was just overreacting, or I was just, which I think so much of the time. And you talk to people and say, oh, George, you're just being melodramatic. And so then they get, okay, well, maybe I really don't have a problem, maybe it was just, I don't know the answers to any of them, you all are the professionals, but it just seems to me that if somebody has a realization at that moment, if there's somebody there that they can reach out to, and they know that they're there, and then have that conversation.
I have a question. I don't know how you would coordinate something like a meal, but if you have a free meal or something like that, those people that are struggling, they see the free meal and they're like, oh, I can sit through a whatever hour presentation.
Mhm.
They are just hungry. Would that be something that you could use the money for it doesn't have to be extravagant, but just getting something in their stomach and then they're there for the presentation and it may change their life.
It could be something as simple as,
Sandwiches and a
Nice.
bag of
Lunch.
chips.
Box lunch.
I
Right.
was
Box
thinking
lunch.
hot dogs and potato chips.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a good point.
I
beef
mean,
hot dogs.
if all they're looking for is something, just a meal and it's free and they have to sit through a presentation, sometimes that's all it takes.
Mhm. Just like our mental health booth, we had free T-shirts and we brought in so many people. If you have something, and then once they came up, we could tell them our spiel. So that it does make a difference to have something to offer free.
And it's hard to get the t-shirts,
Well,
Yeah.
the region has provided
$500.
$10,000.
is it how much? How many
5,000 in FY '24 and 5,000 in FY '25. And it's been $10,000 and it was the first time it was 520 t-shirts because they gave us a lot of cut deals. And so I didn't get the final count of this time, but I think it's probably close to
It was
520.
Yeah.
And so, but that only goes so far, but we're also gonna get smaller t-shirts down to extra small youth.
Mhm.
It won't be for babies, but extra small youth could probably get to 4 to 5 and 6-year-olds.
Cause it seemed like we ran out of those right away.
Yeah.
This month.
So, but anyway, they're very costly but yet it goes a long, long ways. And I can pretty much tell you, I'm just guessing, but when your child grows out of a t-shirt, I bet you it goes to the younger ones. I mean, that's a message that continues on, and then we put 988 on the sleeve this time.
Right, and positive affirmations.
And
on the
all
back.
positive affirmations, which is, I think, what draws them, and of course, Optimum's logo, because they're our mental health community center. But anyway, that's an idea that possibly some of this opioid money could go to, because it's affordable in one sense, but not affordable if you can't get the dollars for it. And it's just a lot of money, but I'd love to see, there's that much money, I'd love to see another 20,000 be put towards it.
Does Tall Cop have a promotional flyer that comes with it. Does anybody know?
Yeah.
What's in, can we get, because what I'm wondering is if at this October event, if we could have that information, even though
It
it's
should, Connie, you were the contact on that, there
Yeah.
should be.
Yeah.
far
I'll-
ahead,
Or
Double check with
if
that.
not, then.
so we could start getting the word out, hey,
Yeah.
up and coming.
Yeah,
There's also a whole bunch of other events that are happening, like, I don't think it's called the health fair this year, but it's in my mind, it's always gonna be the health fair. But anyway, that's October 8th, 10th, 5th. Okay, that's October
Saturday.
5th, but that's a place to get this information
Mm.
out.
Mhm.
And there's First Friday Art Walk and stuff. Mike Carr needs an accommodation for all that he does
Um,
to get this out.
Yeah.
And of course, Leah goes through the headaches of the orders. You know, it does take time and effort to place these orders and what's the colors and what do you
Yeah,
want to say on the
right.
back and, you know, I mean, it's just a thing to me. But anyway, it's $10,000, got us 1,040 t-shirts.
So I've got a question for this group. We are a group, we don't really have any position that's dedicated to like opioid within the county, okay? Prevention. By the contract of the money, we can only use 2% for like administrative something, which is nothing, basically. So given that emphasis, the county is part of Pathfinders, so I went to Ashley and I said, Ashley, is there anything Pathfinders could do to help, for lack of a better word, coordinate or be the person, you know, the person to make the flyers, to do some of the stuff? And she said, I don't know, find out what the need is and let me know. So that's what I'm saying, if we want to look for a person, a place to like help get publicity out, do some of this stuff, to have somebody to go to. Think in those terms, let me know and I can reach out to her. If you're not interested in that, that's okay.
I don't know, when I saw Mike yesterday and
It's up in our office too.
I've got
Yeah.
this information upstairs, but I'm of the belief, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's probably 15 pages, maybe.
Mhm.
And he is personally fronting the money for the ink and the paper and the printing and doing all the legwork. You know, that is something that should be more into administrative needing to compensate him instead of having somebody come in and do the same thing Mike's doing.
Especially since he knows the talk and.
Right,
has
he
lived
knows
it
the
his
talk
law.
and
Yeah.
knows the
Yeah.
walk.
Yeah,
That's my
and he's already doing it.
perception, is it needs to go to the Mental Health Alliance so that they can push it around and
So-
over to,
Somebody
Get these
from
things
the
printed.
Alliance would need to connect with Elizabeth to see if any of that qualifies. I don't know if it does for the opioid funding, because you know, we received that exhibit that lists things.
Mhm.
And she's pretty strict about how that would be used, so I can't answer that.
Well, it would be nice just to have a go-to graphics person and say, hey, we need a poster for Tocop, or maybe we're gonna get that, we're probably gonna get that from
I was
them.
gonna say, it's
But,
not, we can.
Yeah,
We'll
but
just change the date.
like in my Ascension thing, I don't know if they have that, but anything we might do, if it's not already. If we, it, like, again, I'm saying it'd be nice to have somebody, a go-to
But are you
that can create
asking for a
something.
position, like they would get X amount of dollars per month to do something, or?
No.
I don't know what I'm asking. I'm just saying,
Cause I'm not sure there's enough work being done
No,
collectively.
correct.
No, I think,
For that.
and what I'm saying is just to have this person, that's our go-to person to create a flyer. Because they're a graphics designer and they're interested in this topic and, you know, they can do it for quickly.
well, I think a graphics designer, the only one I can think of off the top of my head is Josie. I mean, like a designer, you know what I mean?
Oh,
I
there's a
mean-
ton of them
I
around.
mean, but but it's gotta be somebody that's. The key is to get them the information like well in advance. That's
Yeah.
what, so that's what I'm struggling with.
Yeah.
We have all this stuff coming up, but we don't have like. A drop dead date of, okay, we gotta have this information by this date, and then you don't have anybody show up because they didn't know, and they've already got 3 other things planned.
Yeah.
Or if we can get food, a box lunch, then you gotta have that, you know.
Well, I was
behind you or
thinking with
whatever.
that idea is coordinating with Come to Supper.
And have them do something on Sunday. Are you talking the Sunday
Mm,
presentation?
No, I'm talking,
Oh,
On-
they'd be
on
happy to
Tuesday,
put a
and we
flyer
do
in
it-
the.
we
in
do
the-
it,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking about doing it at the church
Oh,
that
yeah.
Tuesday night.
Which event?
Rather than a drive.
I could talk to them.
Have them do.
Well, I think it's, we're gonna have a presentation, so if you prefer to come in and have your meal there for the presentation,
I know, because we
Um,
used to do come to supper inside the church.
I know.
And after COVID hit, it seemed like it just worked better to keep it outside. I know they'd be happy to do a flyer. I can see if they'd want to do something to go inside. I think the challenge would be people are so used to driving by and getting their meal to get them inside right now. It's out of their routine. It might be. But I'm sure
Yeah.
they'd be willing to put flyers in the bags. That would not be a problem.
Well, yeah, that's not the problem. I kind of have a different opinion on the whole thing. I think they should have gone back after COVID, bringing people inside because It's- it's too easy just to go pick up a meal. It's not only about feeding them, it's also about feeding their soul.
Yeah.
In my view, that's the church's mission, in my view. I'm just saying my opinion. So
It's a complicated issue.
it's a complicated issue. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
At any rate, if, you could still keep it drive by, but those people that want to come in for that presentation, and we can maybe get some other people in that presentation, other people that maybe don't normally go by.
Who's
Drive
doing
by
the
supper.
presentation?
Well, I don't know, we'd have to find somebody,
Oh, I see.
I mean,
Yeah.
just it was her
I-
idea to do a supper.
I thought this
And-
was back to the my
Yeah, I
ascension
thought we
thing.
were
I
back
was
to my
confused.
ascension. Yeah, I
I was
was-
Yeah.
confused. Okay, I'm glad we're confused
Yeah,
together. Same
yeah.
thing.
I was thinking, how are we gonna change this girl over to Tuesday?
Yeah, that's what I was.
Because when you
confused
said food, I thought you meant on that Sunday
Yeah, I did
presentation
too.
for my ascension.
Oh,
Is that what the thought was,
well,
or
it's
just,
just off of Abby's idea, to have a free meal. You
well, even
know?
if you say refreshments will be served, people will come.
Right, I know.
The challenge would be, I don't know what the requirements would be from FACC regarding food and
Oh, yeah.
bringing,
all that.
I mean, all that's gonna
Yeah.
be, add another layer of,
Mhm.
especially if it's perishable food.
Yeah,
Right, but if you're talking about doing education continuously.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's a good idea. As far as to plan something else, I don't know what all the logistics of doing it for. The Sunday, the 24th.
Did they have a time on that?
on Sunday,
Yeah.
not that I've heard yet.
See, that's what I'm
No,
getting at.
no, I think there is.
Isn't
oh,
it
is
at
there?
2
Yeah.
p.m.?
I think it's
thought I saw
at 2.
it 2 p.m.
October.
I think it's
Yeah.
at 2.
Okay.
The same.
But yeah, like that stuff is.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, okay, so yeah, I'm confused too. We've got my
Sorry.
ascension.
I stirred the pot, but I
For
wanted,
come to
yeah,
supper, I mean,
yeah.
we could theoretically have a
27th, Sunday.
periodic program. I mean, we can ask him, but I know there's a challenge getting volunteers to bring food to that continuously.
As a public health person, I struggle with people bringing in food because of foodborne illnesses. I'm just gonna lay it out there. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't say it, because you can't eat from everybody's kitchen. I know that for a fact. I mean, and then, I get it, I totally get it, but for this big of a thing, I would say just to get a box lunch from someplace, professionally prepared. Then you don't have to have anybody serve it. We go to so many meetings, you got veggie,
Yeah.
turkey, ham, or roast beef. Take your box lunch and go have some fellowship and
Mhm.
support, and then sit down and listen to the presentation.
Like.
And then you don't have to coordinate volunteers to cook something or
Yeah,
make something.
and that's fine.
And I mean, I'm just looking at it way up here,
Yeah.
cause it's like, then it's another layer of trying to herd the cats and try to get it done,
Right.
if you can use
Yeah.
the money for that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know.
I think you find that Hy-Vee probably.
Yeah.
They would do
might
something
donate.
cheap, probably.
They'd probably do something to
Yeah.
donate.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at it from up
Yeah.
here.
No, I think
I
that
agree.
simplifies it. I agree.
I like easy.
Yeah.
But, and then you struggle with how many people are you gonna expect?
And then Abby will do the dish.
That's when you just
Perfect.
recycle your stuff and
Or do you just say, we'll have 100 box lunches for the first people that get there?
Let's see you wash the cardboard.
wash the plastic silverware. I don't know. I'm just trying to make it easier, but sometimes it seems like it's not easy.
So what I'm hearing, tell me if I'm not on the right page, is we've got my ascension in October. Question mark box lunch. And then the idea is like with drive-by supper, to have something inside. Like a program periodically or something possibly, or if there's any other.
If we also have
Similar
like a
price.
box meal for Talcott for the evening presentation.
That's kind of where my mind was going. You
Yeah.
know, it gets them there because they want the free meal and they're there to sit and listen to the presentation because they're getting a free meal out of it.
Somebody needs to check with Arts and Convention Center and make sure it's okay to take box lunch into the Sondheim Theater.
Who is the contact person over there anymore?
Lindsay,
They changed again.
Seth is, I've worked with him on,
Didn't Mike just say somebody was
Yeah,
different
the-
there now?
Who was it that was in charge? He is now gone.
that'd be Seth probably.
I don't think it was that.
That's.
Well, I know Tommy Brower just got hired over there, so I don't know.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, it's
Replacement
taken us
now.
like
It's
6
on
weeks
there.
to be able to schedule anything over there, because you can't get. You know, when it calls back.
Well, Lindsay's there, contact Lindsay, and she's still there.
Yeah, she's still.
I don't know, but there used to be a different person that you reserved the room with, is what I'm saying. Everybody's got their own, the calling tree and you to reserve a room. So I don't know. I haven't reserved a room since we did the chalk chip meeting. I'm just saying Deb talked to Mike yesterday and there was,
They have that little like conference room, you serve the meal there and then they go into the auditorium or whatever for the presentation.
Yeah.
are we gonna meet again before? I mean, I'm just saying, are we gonna meet again before all this stuff happens or?
We need to, we don't
Well,
have a
yeah,
scheduled
'cause-
meeting because we've been going every other, but I would say we need to get assignments out of this and have a
Okay,
meeting
so-
like the end of September.
The question is, are you having food for both the one on Sunday? If it's at 2, it's a different food. It's a different, food. And evening makes, I feel like maybe more sense. But whatever. And then, I mean,
The
cause
people that will be
realistically,
coming
like,
for the food are not going to care
No,
what the
they're
food
not.
is.
Correct.
I'm
right,
sorry,
I'm just saying you're not serving, typically not gonna serve a box lunch at
At
2
2
o'clock in
o'clock.
the afternoon.
the people that come for the food are not gonna care.
Yeah.
They'll eat your box lunch, anything you serve them, they will eat.
Mhm.
They're not picky. They'll eat breakfast
I don't
burritos.
necessarily find that necessary.
Oh, okay.
Well, we gotta find out if we can
Yeah,
spend money
but-
that way,
Well,
right?
that's what I was gonna say. We
I'll
have
ask
Free food is
Elizabeth
free
about
food.
So
that.
ask her and then
Can't
why don't we
plan food
finalize it
without-
next?
You can serve them breakfast
In September.
burritos at 6 o'clock in the evening and they will come.
The first
Right.
question is,
For your
yeah, if it's.
Thanks for coming.
Couple of things, if you get us digital formats of the events, we can put them on our website,
Okay, and once
our
we get the digital
Facebook
version.
page.
Are you connected to the Ministerial Alliance?
I am.
Bill,
Yeah.
maybe it could get out to the Ministerial Alliance so that they can put it out to their congregations.
So is
Just a
Mike
thought.
coming up with the flyer for my ascension?
I'll have to talk to him.
Thursdays. Thank you.
So can we do
Thank you.
this? Connie, can
Yeah.
you work with that Mike or whoever on
Yeah.
the flyer?
Yeah.
For my ascension?
Yeah.
And then maybe what we can do is have a flyer or an upcoming events. And then we, at my ascension for Talcott. Cause that's still way out there, but at
Yeah.
least it gets it
Started.
started, and if there's anything else.
Yeah.
Second, we have to purchase all of our education materials, so and we do not as many as we have of meth or marijuana, but we do have some folks that come to the Stepping into Freedom and the classes that will continue beyond that, that have opioid addiction. So,
Okay,
So you purchase materials for that?
yes.
I mean,
And then we
that's
give
something
away-
that seems like
And then we
would be
give
a
all,
good use of money.
we
can you
don't,
send me a budget on that or what it would take? Because that seems like we could do something with
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And again, we gotta fly it by Elizabeth. My concern with food, and I can just tell you, when I went to that Sam Shashani training in Des Moines on opioids 2 years ago now, that grant wouldn't cover food. It covered everything else related to.
Most
those
grants don't
programs.
pay for food, but this isn't a grant. This is not a grant. It
But it's the
is.
same pot of money. I mean, that was opioid money.
So
that
we just
funded
ask.
it.
Yeah,
But I do like
just
being
ask.
able to,
Yeah.
that seems like
Yeah.
a very
Totally.
good
Well, that's a
place to put
no-brainer.
it. Yeah,
I feel like.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'll-
is your
yeah.
program.
Send me a budget or.
Third was the cancer.
Do that because it's.
Was it localized or was it?
Skin cancer, yes,
Right.
everybody else probably knows.
Promoting a program.
Former basal cell, former squamous cell. And then once she's there, I'm gonna biopsy this, which is precancerous squamous, so. Yes, everything's fine.
Okay, great.
I'm just gonna look like I got in a knife fight for 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, because settlement money is different than grant money.
Yeah.
So,
But it's
I mean,
fine.
especially if you tie it to
Thank you.
something.
Thanks.
Well, you know, and
Yeah.
he brings up a good point, I think, if they're purchasing materials for that kind of program.
We can help with stuff like that.
What other organizations are purchasing materials for?
Well,
Drug
12-step programs, all, you know, you have a book, a whole 12-step book. And other literature, but you know, I don't know how much stuff people do versus doing online stuff, you know? I mean, I know just from going to different places, very rarely, I mean, you see, occasionally you see a pamphlet, but otherwise you see, go to this website for information.
Right.
Or an app,
Mhm.
you know? That's like, we need to make an app and a QR code and then that'd be cool.
If this money wouldn't work for food and everybody would want to do that, what if you would talk to local churches? Because they do, every church has a mission and local missions is one of those things. You know, that would be something that they could maybe donate for their local missions money.
Sandy, I like your t-shirt idea.
I did too. I think
When I saw you wearing it that
you
day,
saw me wearing one.
I was sitting where Abby
You
was,
did,
I'm
you
like,
did.
wait, what's that?
I'd like to see
Eye-catching.
enough t-shirts to be at least the school, if not also on Sunday, so that every attendee could get one. And now we're talking some thousands of dollars when you know 520 t-shirts comes with $5,000, which, you know,
Where did you get them?
we got them at Ace Graphics in Eldon. We shopped around too, and they not only gave us cut rates, but they did all the graphics on their own. They didn't charge us for that. I mean, they're really into this sort of
So
thing
that would be about $10,000 for 520 shirts, right?
for,
You know, and
no, you get 1,000 t-shirts for $10,000. 1,000 and whatever, but you know, I'm just thinking that if we had $10,000, that would come awfully darn close, but we also need to have that known early enough because they can't just whip them out in a day. You know, it takes some weeks of planning.
Maybe for my ascension,
That's
if we
what,
do the free t-shirts instead of the
instead
meal.
of food is what I'm thinking.
And then if we want to do food at a later thing, because
Yeah, we
the
could
t-shirts
figure
would be
out-
easier to get done because
And
they
I-
got the
And it
template.
connects totally to positivity statements and wellness and suicide
Yeah.
issues. It
No, I saw,
Totally
yeah.
connects to that.
Yeah.
So if we could get at least $10,000 for roughly 1,000 t-shirts, you know, and even more if possible, because the t-shirts are going to every event that, you know, I mean, it just whittles down. Every time Mike goes somewhere and sets up a table, there's that many t-shirts that goes away.
well, that'd be cool, like school, like they have a blackout or an orange out or whatever for this game, you do this, you do
Yeah.
this. You
And
know,
they're new
whatever.
colors too.
Yeah,
They are nice colors.
We cannot have 22 on the t-shirts.
yeah.
I don't know why not.
So do you think that's a possible
Ask Elizabeth.
funding?
Oh, you
I mean, it's
today.
education. Where is
It is
Jefferson usually
education.
from? Well, usually
She
comes-
does, but who knows, maybe she has
It
court
it
or
is
something.
educational, but it also gives out the suicide
Right,
prevention
it's
number.
promotion,
I mean,
it's
it's,
advertising,
it's so
it's,
many things.
But does it have to be directly related to opioid?
That's what we'll ask
Well,
Elizabeth, because it's,
I mean,
It's
it-
suicide.
it's education
Yeah,
and it's related.
I understand. I'm good with it. I don't,
Yeah.
I just am trying to say, like, if they'll only pay for X, Y, or Z, you may have to
Yeah.
tweak
Tweak
what's on
the
the verbiage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might have
I
to do more
really-
preventative.
Obviously, I can't speak for Elizabeth, but common sense dictates to me that opioid addiction leads directly to, or can be directed to suicide. So
Absolutely.
It's all
Yeah.
together.
Yeah,
You are
yeah,
right on.
Mhm.
So that would be good if that could happen, but
Yeah.
if you talk to her, Dean, and let me know right away so that Leah can jump on that and get it
Well-
ordered.
okay.
Do we
So-
have,
Do you want to meet again?
do you have any other, like, did Elizabeth research any drug court stuff? Has she shared that information?
She has not shared that. I know she was gonna check that.
SSD.
What, oh, you mean our county
Yeah,
attorney?
yeah.
Oh, well. Here, I thought you were talking about some
No, we're talking
out
about
of
Elizabeth.
town
then-
Elizabeth that I've
No.
never
Do
heard of.
we,
Yeah,
did
okay.
Augustine
Never
ever
mind.
send a list of 12-step programs?
I haven't seen anything and I was on one of those committees and I don't think anything's, if you researched it, I don't think I got it. I might have and I forgot it, but I
And
don't know.
then, I mean, I guess.
That might be also, just sorry to interrupt you, but the fact that you mentioned his name, I wonder if the school needs anything that we could purchase for this area.
And we will have our ACT meeting on September 9th. Yes, September 9th. I had to look behind your head, Connie, sorry, the
Yeah.
9th, which is the second. We'll resume those meetings because there was no need to meet in the summer when half the people wouldn't be there anyway. And so I'll be I sent out the link last year, but I'll send it out again here. I will wait and send it out after Labor Day so it doesn't get like lost in everybody's inbox when people are gonna be out.
And
And
then
then-
Warple, that's the day I go to Des Moines.
I'm
And you're
in the
going too?
office. No, I'm in the office.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I'm in the
Okay.
office. Yeah, because I'm not going to that conference.
Oh, so
Yeah, I'm in the
October
office.
is when,
And
October,
then,
I'm out.
okay.
does anybody know about the substance abuse virtual evaluations? I don't know whether that can.
I don't know
actually be
anything
done.
about that.
Who would know anything? Can you ask about that at,
Yeah, I can.
because that would be,
Yeah.
if CETA's there, they ought to know.
Yeah, and I haven't talked to anybody at CETA. Usually the only time I hear is when, if they have a question about the community or something, I haven't talked to anybody since May,
I
probably.
just think there's a lot of, like, there's a lot of loose ends.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Agree.
So when will
Stacy.
you know what we can do and what we can't do? Do we have a copy of the grant?
That's what I'd like to.
Settlement.
We all have a
Yeah.
copy.
Yeah.
Early on, I sent
Right
out
here.
that
Right.
appendix. Everybody in this room has it. I sent it to the whole email list except for Joe. And I'll send it to him.
Cause I think it'd be really nice to know what you can do before you can plan.
We all have a copy on our email.
Yeah. Well, let's confirm that we can spend some money this way.
Stacy, you had brought some up the other day when we were talking.
And I'll check with Augustine or Augustine or whatever his name is.
Augustine.
Augustine, is
I-
that what it is?
Augustine.
Augustine,
I
to see if he
struggled
needs
to
any
find-
printed materials related to drug awareness, opioid, blah, blah.
CMEs.
With the families that he's
So,
dealing with.
yeah, and like I said, opioids is a huge thing for providers, maybe more than what people realize. I would really like to be able to offer
I think it's.
CME for,
That would be a good
Um,
use.
and I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. It's just, we've had a meeting recently. I know I have to go to another one tomorrow. In relation to pharmacy, medical practice, like, there's just a lot of things on the horizon. And I think that, being able to offer a CME locally would pull in a different group of people. And I just think that if we could pull off that something professional for the providers, it would be a huge hit.
And that is something we could definitely use this money for. That's,
So I don't think that
Is CME like a CEU?
Yes,
Yes.
continuing providers,
Just
continuing
checking.
medical education.
I figured that,
professions.
but I
Yeah,
hadn't heard it.
CMEs, yeah. Nurses
Yeah.
get CEUs
So
or
if-
contact hours.
If you're gonna check on CEUs, CMEs, whatever, then. And I can ask Elizabeth about whether we can use some money for the T-shirts.
Okay.
Then what other tasks are, oh, and I'm also gonna check with therapists to see if they're available. Would regular, they're not mental health professionals necessarily, but wouldn't regular providers also be, could also be used to be available in case somebody needs to talk right now, in case we don't have therapists available? I'm just saying, I'm trying to reach out of the box.
Maybe some of them.
Maybe some of them
yeah.
that's had some mental health training, you know.
I mean, there are providers that do, but they don't typically go the therapy route. It's more the
Right.
med prescribing route.
Right.
But
I'm just thinking out of the box. I'll
Yeah, I
ask the
know.
therapist first and then I'll call you if that's a problem.
Yeah.
How's that?
yeah, that's fine.
Do you want to have another just check-in meeting sooner than later? Cause I wanna see
Yeah,
our
we can't wait
next
till
meeting
October
would
to
be
have another
after the
meeting.
Well,
I mean,
I
we
have
gotta-
one more question though.
Yes,
before you
Cindy.
go. Are there big flyers that can be posted for this event, for the My Ascension event? Do we have those available that can go around town and be posted, or are they on a website somewhere where we can pull them off and get them printed? And I think we need to, I'm
I'll
still
find out
focused
from
on.
Mike has the.
Because
ones
there
that-
is a group that's a sort of above us that's actually bringing her to Iowa and we're plugging into what they're
Yeah.
doing. So.
So talking to
What's-
Mike is like telling Mike, oh, we got this idea, then Mike spends $1,000 out of his pocket. You know, I mean, it's like, that's why I'm saying, what do we have available? And we don't have time to sit around and twiddle our thumbs about posters and getting them all over town and splashed up.
Well, this is the point. I'm gonna ask Mike if the other group has the actual flyers. Because the other group is the one that's bringing her to Iowa and we're just one of the appearances.
Mhm.
So.
Usually, historically, if you're getting a national speaker, it's a canned
Yeah,
That's why I was
poster, and
thinking.
then all you do is change the date and the location
Right.
for your.
I'm thinking
city.
of the one Mike
I
showed
mean,
us.
that's
to begin
usually
with,
how that
need to get
You know,
that
for
and get it out.
our, have you seen?
Okay.
it?
There's one thing. for-
Probably
Yeah,
have
yeah.
some number.
So that's the only
Yeah, I
three
don't think
things
I
we
have it with
actually
me,
need
but-
then, right? To see if T-shirts can be purchased, to see if therapists are available, and to see
Okay,
where's the
thanks. I'll
posters that can
text
be
you the date.
splattered all across
Bye.
town.
Have a good day.
To help
So the
with
thing related to
mental
the
health
open funding for that is T-shirts, really.
T-shirts and maybe the posters.
Well,
Because
while you're
otherwise
asking-
Mike's gonna
yeah.
just do it all on his own, and that's not, I keep trying to, I give him some money out of my pocket. But, you know, if there's no funding source, then that's not really right to, to expect one or two people to fund it all out of their pocket.
And while you're,
I'm
you
I'm
know,
looking at, excuse me one second, but would Friday, the 13th of September work for a
I know
Probably.
Stacy's usually off on Fridays. She
quick
works
check?
4/10s, so she's not gonna come in for,
Right,
She
That's
could,
it.
she could zoom in.
I'm trying to think if I'm working that day.
I'm gonna go look at my calendar.
I don't remember. I think I am, but I think I have I'd have to look at my schedule and I didn't bring it. And that's only a couple weeks away though.
well, how about
I was thinking more like the 20th or something,
the
but,
20th is a Friday,
or
otherwise
the
the 17th,
18th or,
I don't
18th.
know, 13th, yeah.
Fridays are rough.
Fridays are
Um,
good for me.
Fridays are always good. Oh, no,
Wednesday,
except for-
Wednesday, the 18th. Thursday, 19th. Wednesday, 18th. Tuesday, 17th.
Don't we usually meet on a Wednesday though?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I would try to keep it.
I've got something right at
17th
8, but
maybe?
What?
The 17th at 8:30. and keep it like,
I'm not sure if I
Oh.
can do 8:30. I've got something to
Oh.
eat, but I might be a little late, and that's fine. I can come late.
or we can do it
Um,
at 9 or whatever.
Does 9 work?
September the 18th, 17th
I still might be a few minutes late. We'll just see,
at
but
9.
that's okay.
I'm just trying to think for consistency.
Right,
Yeah.
a
I
Tuesday.
mean, because if you start changing the date, then,
Well, and by
think it-
then, ACT will have met. We'll have a few more answers from there.
yeah, actually.
You'll know more on the flyers. I'll
Okay.
check with Elizabeth on
17th, September 17th at 9.
food.
Mhm.
Um,
Because
and you'll check t-shirts. I can ask her about that too.
And Joe's gonna get you about the materials that they use as well.
Mhm.
And then we have to get this on the supervisor agenda to just approve it, but that's fine. Since we're all three here, that shouldn't be a problem. All right,
What
thanks.
do you need to approve? What is the supervisors?
Any funds we spend
You're talking about the
opioid,
opioid.
I'm talking
Gotcha.
opioid.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what's ending? Okay, gotcha.
Nothing right now, but we have a few things, looks like.
Just so you know, I'm also putting it on the city council agenda when you put it on your agenda, so make sure you coordinate with me.
Oh,
Just so the council feels like they're involved.
for the opioid thing, you
Yeah.
know? Sure.
Yeah.
They can come to this meeting if they want to.
Yeah.
All right, thanks. We are done.